Iran is lashing out at the U.S. over new financial pressure, saying there will be no diplomatic end to the standoff. This morning, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani called new U.S. sanctions outrageous and idiotic, his words. And a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry said the measures equal a permanent closure for diplomacy.
After Iran shot down a U.S. drone last week, President Trump signed an executive order yesterday targeting Iran's supreme leader for the first time. The sanctions block access to the international financial system. Ben Tracy is at the White House. Ben, Iran's president really laid into Mr. Trump.
He certainly did not hold back. In an offensive choice of words, he said that the White House is, quote, afflicted by mental retardation, and he mocked President Trump for simultaneously requesting talks and imposing sanctions. So if the strategy here is to use sanctions to force Iran to the negotiating table, so far, it's not working.
Who knows what's going to happen? I can only tell you we cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
Instead of using force, President Trump put on a show of it in the Oval Office, signing the sanctions order in front of the cameras, flanked by his vice president and Treasury Secretary. The sanctions target Iran's supreme leader and at least 8 Iranian military commanders, including the official the U.S. believes is responsible for shooting down an American drone last week.
Mr. President, is your goal to negotiate a new deal?
We would love to be able to negotiate a deal if they want to. If they don't want to, that's fine, too.
The U.S. has imposed nearly 1,000 specific sanctions on Iran since pulling out of the nuclear deal, and they are taking a toll on its economy. The value of Iran's currency has dropped 60%, and inflation is more than 40%.
You cannot start a dialogue with somebody who is threatening you, who is intimidating you.
On Monday, Iran's ambassador to the UN said tensions between the two countries is, quote, really dangerous. Instead of negotiating, Iran is retaliating, allegedly attacking tankers in the Persian Gulf, shooting down the American drone, and threatening to enrich more uranium, the fuel that can be used to make nuclear bombs.
What they've sought to do is to try to turn up the heat to see if the president will respond and to see what they can, in fact, get away with.
President Trump warns that if he does change his approach, he does not need congressional approval for a strike.
I do like keeping them abreast, but I don't have to do it illegally.
Now, the president says he still wants to talk to Iran's leaders, and the only precondition is that they cannot have nuclear weapons. Of course, the nuclear deal the president pulled out of last year was designed to prevent just that. Anthony?
Ben, Iran will be a prime topic at the G20 summit later this week. What should we expect?
Well, you can expect a lot of U.S. allies to raise questions about this strategy. So far, they are not on board with these sanctions. And the Russians are also getting involved now, too. They say they have intelligence that shows that U.S. drone was in Iranian airspace when it was shot down last week. Anthony?
Ben, thank you.